Okay, hi guys, I'm Bill and this is my Wrestlemania 30 and Hall of Fame review and analysis. And so if you haven't seen them yet, go watch them because there are obviously going to be spoilers here, but what I can say without spoiling anything is that Hall of Fame was great and Wrestlemania 30 was a fantastic show too. So definitely worth watching. And WrestleMania had a few shock moments there too, so yeah, very nice. But yeah, to start with the Hall of Fame, well, you had Lita there. She talked about her start in the business. Well, that is always interesting. You had Jake the Snake, who had a really captivating speech about his highs and lows in life. So that was like, well, a masterful speech. Then Mr. T, who like talked about his mother and Jesus all the time, which was really weird, but what can I do? That is like the only speech that you might want to skip, because it is mother, 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 Jesus, Bible, mother, mother. That's what it basically is, but that was his choice. Then you have Kane talking about Paul Bearer, and it turns out that Kane is a really good storyteller. Like the speech was surprisingly good. So, like props for Kane. And then you had Razor Ramon, Scott Hall. Well, his speech was pretty short. I don't know, maybe he didn't want to speak like for longer, but yeah, it was still nice to see him. And then Carlos Colon. Although he spoke, half of his speech was in Spanish, so I didn't get much of that, but yeah, it was okay. And lastly, you had the Ultimate Warrior, which was great to see him back in the WWE. Like everyone knows that he and Vince have had a lot of problems, and he has declined to be there like previously, but now he finally got there. And I think his speech was a good compromise between like pretending that nothing has happened, and I don't think anyone expected that, but he didn't go on like a full-scale rant or shoot or whatever either. So he did say some negative things. He took a few stabs like at Ted DiBiase for not wanting him around, and also the DVD, that it broke his heart, like that it was false information and all this kind of stuff. So there's some negative there, but there's some positive there too. So I think that was a good compromise, because, well, obviously he had to get some of this stuff off his chest. So yeah, sure. And it was a pretty long speech. They did give him a lot of time for that. So I think that was a good idea, that he did get a lot of time, because the speech, everyone says, was the most anticipated Hall of Fame speech ever. So yeah, so that was very interesting, and I hope we see more of Warrior in the future. Like, he has signed a deal with the WWE, so yeah, I hope we're gonna see more of him, and that they can sort out some of these crap between them, because, well, what's the point? And that, like he said, that the Ultimate Warrior character is legendary, or is a legend. That's the thing that you have to give. You have to give the Ultimate Warrior that no matter what crap has gone on like previously, you have to give him the fact that the character Ultimate Warrior is one of the, like, it's a really memorable character, and it's one that has like super amount of intensity. That's what you get. Like when the music hits and the character runs into the ring, around the ring, and shaking the ropes, and the interviews, everything screams intensity about the character. That's what is so memorable about it. Same thing as with Macho Man Randy Savage, who was really intense too. So yeah, you can't deny that the character was great. So yeah, good to see Warrior back. And then to WrestleMania 30 itself. First, the set is awesome. You have XXX, like Jumbotron, 3 big X's, and they all have like video inside them, so that's pretty awesome looking. And the show starts with Hogan, who's the host of the show, and then suddenly snap, glass breaks. You have Steve Austin there, and like everyone in the audience is like, "What? Stone Cold is here!" Then Stone Cold comes there and blabs his mouth and whatever, and then like after that it's like, "If you smell what The Rock is cooking, The Rock is there," and everyone is like, "What the hell? The Rock is here too?" So you have Hogan, Stone Cold and The Rock in the ring at the same time in the opening bit. And after they all do their shtick, and after that everyone is like, "Oh my god, that was the greatest freaking opening ever." So that was definitely a good idea. Like, it's WrestleMania 30. It's like something to celebrate, so having those three icons there was like a good idea. Like, some people said that like why did you have Hogan there and Rock there and Stone Cold there, because they are not even on the card or whatever. And I disagree, because they are icons and they did give something to the show. It was like a surprise factor. People really were wowed and like pleased that they were there. But also you had Stone Cold going on about that this is the moment for the new generation to come there and give it their all. So it was kind of a motivation speech to everyone backstage as well. So yeah, I think it was a really good moment there. And like JBL said after the moment, like, "Okay, my life is complete now." That's what I felt too. Like, okay, that was freaking great. Very nice move. Okay, and after that you had the Daniel Bryan versus Triple H, and this feud, I think, has been built up really nicely. It's a really long feud, and especially at the latter part, Triple H and Stephanie have pulled off this kind of asshole heel role very well. And this is what you have here as well. Well, Triple H rises up with all this kind of gold, spiky armor and whatever, like ridiculously melodramatic. "Oh my god, yeah!" And well, they have the match, which is, well, it's a good match, of course. Triple H and Daniel Bryan, they both can have good matches. And Daniel Bryan does win, but after that Stephanie comes and slaps him in the face. And this is one part, like, why don't they have Brie Bella in this feud? Like, wouldn't it make sense to have Brie Bella in here to like counter this Stephanie stuff? Like, Stephanie, because she's a woman, she can slap the taste out of Daniel Bryan's mouth. But if you had Brie there, then she could actually go there and slap the snot out of Stephanie's face. So it would like even up this. So I don't know. But I don't think they're going that route, but it might work, I'm just saying. But yeah, Daniel Bryan wins, but after that Stephanie slaps him and Triple H blindsides him and uses a chair on his arm, like after the match, and the arm was already taped before, and it was like, okay, that was just an asshole-like thing to do, but that's what the characters are, so yeah. So that's kind of the build-up that can Daniel Bryan get it done. Like, he wins over Triple H, but then, and he's going to the main event, but can, like, he was already had a bad shoulder, and then Triple H even, like, smacks him in the hand after the match. So can he win? That's the question. So it's a good build. Okay, after that you have the Shield versus Kane and the New Age Outlaws, or Old Age Outlaws as they say. And well, it was a squash match basically. It wasn't very long, and the Shield just kicked the crap out of Kane and the New Age Outlaws. So I don't really know what the point of that whole thing was. And like we have seen with the Wyatts versus the Shield can go. They can have really good matches, but this was just like kind of a waste of their potential. But maybe they didn't just find anything else, because the Wyatts were against John Cena in this WrestleMania, so they had to fight like someone. So yeah, it was kind of a waste, but what can you do? Then you had the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. And, well, yeah. In this one, you have 30 men in the ring at the same time from the start, and then it's an elimination over the top rope. And, well, at the start, of course, because there are 30 men in there, it's like really, you can't really make out anything of the Battle Royal because there are so many people in there, but... Okay, then people start flying out, and in the end you have Cesaro versus Big Show there, and Cesaro actually lifts Big Show up and throws him over the top rope, so that's like... Okay, that was cool. That was kind of a nod like Hogan body slamming Andre the Giant, and now you have Cesaro like body slamming the Big Show over the top rope. So that was kind of a cool nod to WrestleMania 3. And also that Cesaro wins the trophy. That's like, okay, very nice that they're finally giving Cesaro some kind of a push. And I think that the Battle Royal in itself is a very nice thing because like they're gonna have it every year now on from this point onwards. I think the Battle Royal is a good idea because, I mean, the card on WrestleMania is always limited. You only have a certain amount of spots that you can put people in. So what about the rest? Like, everyone wants to be wrestling on WrestleMania. So when you have a Battle Royal, you have 30 spots for people who are not in the main events. Then you can put the rest into a Battle Royal, and you can still, someone is gonna win that, and you can like you can put the spotlight on them. You can continue from that. So not only do you have the main cards, but you only have this Battle Royal to highlight people, to push people forward. So I think that's a very good thing. And for the fans too, that you can see all these guys, even if they were not on the card otherwise, then they're at least gonna be in the Battle Royal. So for the fans it's also nice to see these other wrestlers that might not be there otherwise. So yeah, thumbs up for this Battle Royal. But as a match it wasn't that like... It was okay, because like I said, it was quite chaotic and so on, but Cesaro won, and that was a good thing for me. Then you have John Cena versus Bray Wyatt, and well, it was actually a good match, and the crowd was behind it and behind Bray Wyatt. And the story here was that Bray Wyatt is trying to get John Cena to turn into a monster, and he did get that kind of aggressive side out of him at some point, but in the end Bray Wyatt's there handing a steel chair to John Cena and saying like, okay, hit me, whatever. And but of course John Cena doesn't hit him with the steel chair, he hits the other Wyatt. And yeah, it had good teases about John Cena like going uncontrollably loose, like turning into a raging monster, but it just didn't work out. Like, they didn't go with that, so it was kind of a really dull finish, because, well, it's the basic John Cena stuff. It's always like, can John Cena beat the odds? Can John Cena do this? And well, of course he can. He can always do everything, and that's the dull thing about John Cena. He can always do everything. So where's the fun? There's no surprise. There was suspense in the match, but it's always like, no, of course, yeah, John Cena wins. So yeah, that was kind of dull and stupid, but that's how it always goes. And I don't have a problem with John Cena winning, because he is a bigger star than Bray Wyatt. But of course, it could have been nice, or would have been nice, to see a different side of John Cena. Some kind of twist to it, but now there wasn't. There was just a tease and no twist. But yeah, what can I do with John Cena? Then you have Brock Lesnar versus The Undertaker. And Brock Lesnar actually beats The Undertaker for the streak. and that was really shocking. People were like, oh my god, in the audience. That was pretty funny. But the match itself was not good. It was quite bad, and part of that probably was because the Undertaker had a concussion in the match, so that probably like affected the match. But yeah, it was not a good match. It was very slow, and the Undertaker was just, most of the time he was just lying on the mat, and Brock Lesnar like didn't know what to do basically. So I don't know how much the concussion affected the match, and they actually said that it's a severe concussion. So like when the match ended, actually Vince McMahon went to the hospital with the Undertaker. He even missed the main event of WrestleMania because he went with Undertaker to the hospital. But yeah, the match just wasn't good, and but I don't have any problem. Like, it wasn't good, and the problem probably is that, well, the concussion, but also that maybe Brock Lesnar just can't like do this kind of more slow-paced match. I don't know. Because, well, it's easy if he's against someone like Triple H, then they can both like just beat the hell out of each other, but this was not that kind of a match. So yeah. So it was kind of a dull finish to this as well, but it was a shocking finish, and I don't have any problem with the streak ending, because in my opinion this gives more credibility to the streak. Like, it's called sports entertainment. It is sports too, even like, you know, they know beforehand who's gonna win and whatever, but it's still sports. It's supposed to be a competition, like, that's the illusion that is given in wrestling. So, and that means that people win and people lose. Even someone like John Cena, who usually wins, he has to lose always at some point, because otherwise the character is not believable. So this is the same thing. 21 wins. So at some point it makes sense that the streak will end, because that is more believable. In a way, that is more believable, that at some point Undertaker just is too old, and someone like Brock Lesnar, I think Brock Lesnar is a good pick for this, because he is a credible person to end the streak. Like, Brock Lesnar is really a beast. Like, he has been in the UFC and has been the UFC champion. So what more credibility do you need? Like, he is really a tough guy. So I don't have any problem with that. That I actually think that it gives more credibility to the streak, that it can also end, and it gives more credibility to the storylines, because every year you have like the speculation, is the streak gonna end, is the streak gonna end, and everyone's like, yeah, well, of course it's not gonna end. Well, now it ended, so that gives a kind of like element of surprise, that everything or anything can happen in the WWE, in wrestling. So yeah, I think that was a good mood. The build-up was not very good, and the match was not very good, but what can you do? If you get a concussion in the match, and like I said, I don't know how much that affected the match, but that's just something that happens at sometimes. What can you do? But yeah, it was a really shocking moment. And well, also what the reports say, that the Undertaker has campaigned for ending the streak like years before already. So it's not something like he was forced, like, okay, Undertaker, your streak ends now, like Vince comes in there and says, okay, it's gonna end. It's something that he himself probably wanted, and that he has been campaigning for before. So yeah, just that the build-up and the match were not very good, but what can I do? It was still a shocking moment. It's a memorable moment, and this is exactly what Jake the Snake Roberts talked about in his Hall of Fame speech, that what you do as a wrestler or an entertainer is that you pull the strings. You have control over people. You like put them high or put them low or upside down or whatever. You choose what happens, what kind of emotions they're gonna have. And this is exactly what happened. In the opening bit, you have Stone Cold and The Rock appearing and everyone's like, oh my god, this is amazing. That's an emotional high. And then you pull out this kind of shocking moment, oh my god, the streak just ended. And everyone's like, what? What? Confusion, confusion, oh my god, this is so sad, what the hell just happened? That's the opposite thing, but it's still, and it's an emotion. It's an emotional reaction that they got out of the audience. So it's the same thing, but to the opposite side of the emotional spectrum. So yeah, very nice. In my opinion, that was a good thing. And very surprising thing, and one of the things that will make WrestleMania 30 a really memorable one. So yeah, I don't have any beef with that. And then you had the Vicky Guerrero Divas Championship Invitational. That was actually better than you would have thought. Like, well, sometimes these Divas matches can be really crap, and it's not always the Divas' fault. But here you have, what was it, 13 Divas at the same time in the ring, and whoever gets a pin or submission wins. So, okay, at the start it's a bit chaotic, and then like they're flying out and whatever. And then at some point you have Nikki and Brie Bella there, like fighting each other, so that was interesting. But then AJ retains, so yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen with that, because it's the AJ's reign has been quite long already, so yeah, we're gonna see what happens with that thing. But it was okay. For a Divas match, it was actually okay. It was entertaining still. And then, well, at some point you saw the Hall of Famers there out, the Ultimate Warrior 2, and then you had the World Heavyweight title match, Batista vs. Daniel Bryan vs. Randy Orton. And, well, that was a good match too. And, well, of course, Daniel Bryan is getting beaten up, and at some point Batista and Randy Orton gang up on Daniel Bryan, and they go on. Like Batista is on the announcer table, and then you have another announcer table there, and Batista takes Bryan into the power bomb, and then Randy Orton like RKO's him through the other table, and oh my god, that was the most painful looking spot in the whole evening, because when Batista and Randy Orton were taking out the monitors in the middle table like where what through Bryan and Orton crashed through, they took out the monitors, and I saw that, hey, what's that some of them threw the monitor to the other side. They didn't throw the monitors out, but one of the monitors went like in where the announcers or the commentators sit usually behind the desk. So then when you have that, like Randy Orton doing the RKO on Daniel Bryan, he actually jumps and lands straight, like back first, on this monitor that is on the ground. Oh my god, that looked so painful, like oh shit. And I actually wondered when they threw out the monitors that, hey, shouldn't you be a bit more careful with those monitors, that someone is gonna go through the table and you just threw the monitor like inside there. You should have thrown it outside. But no, and Randy just landed straight on that. It looked really nasty. And he actually got a cut in his back for that. But yeah, he did continue after the match, so or after the spot, so luckily he didn't get hurt, like didn't get an injury or anything like that. But yeah, you have Batista and Orton ganging up on Bryan, and then, well, they fight each other and whatever, but at some point Bryan comes back and like starts speeding up on both of them, and then of course at some point Triple H comes there, but Bryan blocks and then smashes Triple H with the sledgehammer. So basically that's sorted out, and Daniel Bryan gets the win, and okay, then everyone is chanting yes, yes, yes with him, and you have confetti raining down and whatever. And I think the build up to that was quite good, although it's kind of sad to see Daniel Bryan always getting beat up. That's the negative side. It's always like they're beating up on or ganging up on Daniel Bryan, so that's not fun to watch in a way. But the build up was really nice. The first match, Triple H, can Daniel even win this? He wins, then Triple H smashes him in the arm with the chair, and then this is the same thing. Both of these guys, like Daniel Bryan already had a match, he's hurt, then like Batista and Orton gang up on him, then you have Triple H coming there. It's always like, oh my god, is this even possible? And yet he did win, so just think about that. What was it, like 8 months or something? That was the whole build up from SummerSlam to here. So okay, that was pretty good storytelling, and like I said, I have to give it for Triple H and Stephanie for playing these asshole heels. Like, very good job. So yeah, that was WrestleMania. So I think a few shocking moments, and overall it was really nice, very good. Like some WrestleManias you watched and it was like, well, that was okay, but this was like, okay, that was good. And it like gives you anticipation of, okay, what's gonna happen next, which is the Raw. So yeah, I'm gonna make a video about Raw also, but that was WrestleMania. It was totally worth watching, and Hall of Fame as well, so go check them out. Or you probably have checked them out if you listen to this, because, well, you had spoilers here, but yeah, they were cool. So yeah, that was my review and analysis of both of those, so see you later. If you have any questions or comments, opinions, leave them below, and see you. Okay, bye. Bye.